fight with Jake Paul?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's going to be a great fight.
Did you hear about Mike Tyson's latest health scare? It's a real bummer for the fight world. So, here's the lowdown. Tyson's been dealing with an ulcer flare-up, which, if you don't know, is no joke. An ulcer is basically a sore that develops on the lining of your stomach, and it can cause a ton of pain and discomfort. Imagine trying to train for a big fight with that going on. It's just impossible. Tyson's doctor took one look at him and was like, "Mike, you need to chill for a bit." The advice was to lighten up on the training for a few weeks. Rest and recovery were the orders of the day. It makes sense though, right? Pushing through something like this could make it way worse, and nobody wants to see Iron Mike in worse shape. But here's the good news. Tyson's got an upbeat outlook on the whole situation. He put out a statement saying, "Unfortunately, due to my ulcer flare-up, I've been advised by my doctor to lighten my training for a few weeks to rest and recover. My body is in better overall shape than it has been since the 1990s, and I will be back to my full training schedule soon." Can you believe that? He's comparing his current shape to his prime back in the 90s. That's pretty impressive. And as usual, Tyson isn't backing down. He warned Jake Paul that this delay might give him a bit more time to prepare, but in the end, he's still confident he'll knock him out. Tyson said, "Jake Paul, this may have bought you some time, but in the end, you will still be knocked out and out of boxing for good." First off, Tyson was pretty straightforward about the whole thing. He acknowledged the setback due to his ulcer flare-up, but he didn't seem too down about it. Tyson assured everyone that he'd be back stronger. He made it clear that this was just a temporary pause and he would be back to full training soon.
Been working so hard over here, everyone in this camp, and I just feel bad for everyone involved in this event.
And you know Tyson, he's always full of confidence. Even with this health issue, he didn't hold back on throwing a little shade at Jake Paul. Tyson confidently declared, "Jake Paul, this may have bought you some time, but in the end, you will still be knocked out and out of boxing for good." He's basically saying, yeah, you got a bit more time, but it won't matter because I'm still gonna knock you out. Classic Tyson, right? Jake Paul's reaction was a mix of disappointment and respect. He was pretty gutted about the postponement, which makes sense considering how much effort both camps have put into this event. Paul expressed his feelings, saying, "Obviously devastating news. I'm heartbroken, speechless, like gutted." He really felt for everyone involved, from his team to the undercard fighters who were all gearing up for this big night. But here's the cool part. Jake Paul showed a lot of respect and support for Tyson's health. He mentioned, "I do value Mike's health first and foremost. Love that guy. I have so much respect for him." Despite the disappointment, Paul was clear that Tyson's health comes first. Paul didn't lose his focus, though. He's still committed to rescheduling the fight and making it happen. He said, "Mike, if you want to do this like you said behind closed doors, behind the scenes, you said you want to do this in Q4, you just need a little bit of time. So, I'm ready whenever you are." He's ready to wait and train harder for when Tyson is back at 100%. Paul believes this fight is a huge opportunity and is determined to make it happen, saying, "This fight's going to change the world, and I turn all my L's into W's. That's a motto I live by." You won't believe the ripple effects of the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight postponement. It's been a whirlwind, and everyone from the promoters to the fans is feeling it. The official word from Most Valuable Promotions, the company behind this colossal event, they've been working around the clock to make this fight a reality, and the postponement was a big blow. But they handled it pretty professionally. They made a statement saying that a new date for the fight would be announced on June 7th. They emphasized their commitment to ensuring both fighters are at their best, which means giving Tyson the time he needs to recover fully. Most Valuable Promotions knows how significant this fight is, not just for the fighters, but for the entire boxing community. They've assured fans that they're doing everything possible to reschedule the fight at a time when both Tyson and Paul can train properly and deliver an unforgettable match. They're keeping the hype alive and making sure the fans stay excited about what's to come. Here's something cool. Netflix is involved in this too. They've been promoting the fight heavily and even posted an update on their social media about the postponement. On X, formerly Twitter, Netflix wrote, "Unfortunately, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson will not face off on July 20th as planned due to Tyson's recent ulcer flare-up. The fight will be rescheduled for a date later this year after Mike's able to resume training with no limitations. Stay tuned for the new fight date to be announced by the end of next week." Netflix has a massive following, and their update helped spread the news quickly. It also showed their support for Tyson's health and their eagerness to see the fight happen later this year. They know the fans are disappointed, but they're keeping everyone in the loop and maintaining the excitement for the rescheduled event. Many fans were gutted when they heard the news. This fight had so much hype around it. An iconic boxer facing off against a YouTuber-turned-boxer is something you don't see every day. Fans were really looking forward to seeing how it would play out. There's been a lot of support for Tyson's health, though. Fans understand that his well-being comes first, and many have sent messages of encouragement and support. Some fans are also excited about the rescheduled date. They're hopeful that the extra time will make the fight even better, with both fighters having more time to prepare. The anticipation is still high, and the postponement has only added to the suspense. Boxing analysts have had a lot to say about the situation too. There's been concern about Tyson's health, given his age and history in the sport. Some analysts have questioned whether it's safe for him to continue fighting, especially against a younger opponent like Jake Paul. They're worried about the potential risks and long-term effects on Tyson's health. On the flip side, some analysts believe that Tyson's determination and experience will see him through. They argue that if Tyson says he's in the best shape since the 1990s, he probably knows what he's talking about. They're looking forward to seeing how he performs once he's back in training and ready to fight.
No, because I would feel really bad for Jake Paul. I don't want.
The analysts are also interested in how this fight could impact Jake Paul's career. Paul has been climbing the ranks and gaining credibility in the boxing world, and a fight against Tyson is a huge step. The postponement gives Paul more time to train, and some analysts think this could work in his favor. They're curious to see how he uses this extra time to prepare, and whether it will make a difference in the outcome of the fight. There's also a broader concern in the boxing community about how these celebrity matches are affecting the sport. Some purists feel that matches like Tyson versus Paul are more about entertainment than actual boxing skill. They worry that it might overshadow more traditional bouts and the fighters who have spent their whole lives in the sport. However, there's no denying that these matches bring a lot of attention and new fans to boxing. The community is divided, with some embracing the entertainment value and others longing for the days when boxing was purely about the sport. This fight, in particular, has sparked a lot of debate about the direction of boxing and what it means for the future. So with Mike Tyson's fight with Jake Paul getting postponed, there's been a lot of buzz about potential replacements. One name that's come up big time is Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia, the rising star in the boxing world, wasted no time throwing his hat in the ring. As soon as the news about Tyson's health issues broke, Garcia hopped on Instagram and texted Jake Paul, offering to step in if Tyson couldn't fight. He posted a screen grab of his message saying, "If you're down to fight, if Mike can't do it, let me know. I will fill in." That's a bold move, right? Garcia is known for his speed and skill in the ring, and he's definitely not someone to take lightly. His offer shows just how eager he is to take on big challenges and keep the excitement alive for the fans. The weight difference is significant. Garcia is lighter than Paul, which could play a huge role in how the fight goes down. But Garcia's got the skills to back it up, and a lot of people believe he could give Paul a real run for his money. For Jake Paul, facing someone like Garcia is a different ballgame compared to Tyson. Garcia is in his prime, young, and fast, which could pose new challenges for Paul. It could be an even tougher fight for Paul, because Garcia's style is very different from Tyson's. Instead of raw power, Garcia would bring speed and precision to the match.
Is it too dangerous for a guy at that age, or is it dangerous for Jake Paul?
They ain't wearing 16-ounce gloves and headgear to save Mike Tyson. Trust me.
The fans are split on this one. Some think it would be an amazing fight to watch, bringing together two young fighters with a lot to prove. Others feel it's not quite the same without the legendary presence of Tyson in the ring. But overall, a Garcia versus Paul matchup would definitely keep the hype alive and could be just as entertaining. Rick Glazer, a well-known boxing matchmaker, was pretty straightforward about his thoughts. He said that Tyson's recent illness might make it difficult for him to fight Jake Paul. Glazer pointed out the risks involved, especially considering Tyson's age and health. He seemed to suggest that it might be time for Tyson to step back from these high-stakes matches. Timothy Bradley, another respected voice in boxing, expressed confidence in Tyson's ability to bounce back. He mentioned that Tyson's condition could be manageable, and that with the right rest and recovery, Tyson could still put on a great show. Bradley also highlighted the recent rule changes, like shorter rounds, which he believes favor Tyson's fighting style and could give him an edge. Lennox Lewis, who famously fought and defeated Tyson, shared his thoughts too. He thinks Jake Paul should consider himself lucky that the fight is postponed. Lewis feels that Paul might not fully appreciate the danger of fighting Tyson, even at his current age. He said that the fight being an exhibition might be a blessing in disguise for Paul, as a sanctioned fight could have been more hazardous for him. Anthony Joshua, one of today's top heavyweights, also weighed in. On the Jonathan Ross show, Joshua said he thinks the fight is great for boxing because it brings a lot of attention to the sport. He acknowledged that traditional boxing fans might not like these celebrity matchups, but he believes they help introduce new audiences to boxing, which is a win for everyone involved. The new date for the fight is set to be announced on June 7th, which gives us something to look forward to. Tyson's already got plans to dive back into intense training as soon as his health gets the green light. He's made it clear that he's in better shape than he's been in decades and is determined to come back stronger. There's a lot of speculation about how this extra time will affect both fighters. Some think Tyson will use this period to fine-tune his skills and come out swinging harder than ever, while others believe Jake Paul will benefit from the additional training time, potentially leveling the playing field. Expectations are sky high, with fans eager to see if Tyson's legendary prowess will overpower Paul's youthful energy. Everyone's buzzing about the rescheduled fight, and it's shaping up to be an unforgettable showdown. So, what are your thoughts on all of this? Let us know in the comments below.